Pros and cons of organic jewelry. Coming up next on Pros and Cons by Piercer, Season 2, Episode number 72. For those that are new to the channel, welcome to the Body Piercing and Tattooing channel. I hope you're enjoying the videos, hope you're finding them useful. But you may not know who I am. My name is DaVo. I'm a professional body piercer and have been since 1994. I own and operate the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, located right here in Des Moines, Iowa, inside Skin Kitchen Tattoo. What I'm going to talk about today is organic jewelry. For those that are not familiar, this is jewelry, usually, in most cases, it's ear jewelry, made for plugs, hangers, gym settings sometimes on like threadless fronts or threaded jewelry. But for the most part, it is mostly plugs and ear stuff. This material, the materials they work with are, and they're all have like a, I thought about separating this into a couple different categories, but I'm like, man, are we really getting this far inside baseball? Basically, the materials that are most common with this are hardwoods, ivory, horn, antler, shells, bones, stones, or in stones. Basically, anything that isn't man-produced, human-produced, I guess. So we call those organic jewelry. Now let's get into the pros, the advantages, things that make you go, yeah, hey, maybe that's the right fit for me. With this, a lot of people, anybody that's had large gauge jewelry, especially in their ears, have noticed that there's a smell and an odor that kind of collects on the jewelry, etc. This is sebums. It's a natural, waxy, oily substance that your body produces. It keeps you waterproof, and it also helps to lubricate your hair follicles. On piercings, and it seems like scar tissue in general, it seems like your body produces a lot more than it does in other places. And because you're kind of in this tight spot, it will collect more. With organic jewelry, especially hardwoods that seem to kind of absorb it a little bit, that the smell isn't quite as bad. Number 2, less extreme in temperatures. Meaning that a lot of times with metal jewelry, if you live in a climate where you're dealing with lots of different temperature levels, like the one I live in, even though it gets milder every year, some jewelry, especially large metal jewelry, will get extremely cold, regardless if it's covered or not. You're not going to have that as much with organic jewelry. It kind of just stays at your body temperature. Number 3, can be lighter than other forms of jewelry. There are some that are lighter, some that aren't. The reality is that most organic, and it depends on what type of organic material it is going to be not quite as heavy as, like, say, I don't know, stainless steel ring. It's going to generally be a little bit lighter, which can be a factor, especially when you're stretching piercings, to avoid tearing and also to avoid thinning of the tissue. Number 4, since it's organic and most of us are not allergic to most things in our environment, you may not be allergic to it. So it might be a safer bet than, say, something that contains nickel. I don't think there's one organic that contains nickel. So you're pretty safe if you have a nickel allergy. Number 5 can come in a lot of different, very unique designs. There's some of these that will do inlays and carves that are extremely beautiful. With wood, you can get different grains to kind of give it a different look. Basically, there's a lot of variety to choose from. Now let's move on to the cons and disadvantages, the things that make you go, no, not for me. Starting with number 1, environmental impact. Since a majority of this type of jewelry is not going to be available through manufacturing, most of it, and a lot of it comes from either endangered species of hardwood or endangered species of animals, or extinct animals in some cases. So there's not, to a degree it's renewable, but in reality, some of these you really aren't going to feel very comfortable owning. If you care anything about the environment. And number 2, may need additional care to avoid damage. It's not quite as durable, and because of that, oiling, like wood plugs and taking care of like antler and etc. is a little more complex than it would be, let's say, with like a metal piece of jewelry where, hey, you just clean it off, or glass. So it is more care involved. Number 3, because of the rarity of some of these items and what it takes to get it, they can be very expensive. There are some of these that are really up there, depending on the size of the plug, what type of carving's done on it, etc. They can get very costly. Number 4, easy to counterfeit. Because you can use cheaper woods and form them into whatever it looks like, that may not be the best option for, let's say, a plug. And you can make some plastics and resin look like it is the real thing. It's really easy to counterfeit these. And the problem with that is you may have issues with a well-healed piercing when you put this counterfeit stuff in. And unless you're kind of an expert or know what to look for, it can be difficult in some cases for your average person to know the difference between real and not real. Number 5, I kind of touched on this when it came to the fact that there's more maintenance involved with this or more care. They are not as durable as, say, glass is going to be or metal is going to be. Of course, stone, very, very durable, but things like hardwood, antler, ivory, mammoth, etc. That stuff can be kind of a bit more fragile than, say, a metal piece of jewelry or a stone piece of jewelry or glass. So you do need to take additional care with that, especially things that have a lot of carving done on them. So have you worn organic jewelry? What was your experience with like it? Please let us know in the comments. Till next time, here's hoping all your piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you are in the Des Moines, Iowa area, I hope to see you for your body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. We'll see you in the next video.